Welcome to Have a Drink and Paint. Tonight we are doing a movie called The Gate. This was filmed in 1987, stars Stephen Dorff. My wife got some Evan Williams Bottled in Bond Kentucky Straight Whiskey, Bourbon Whiskey. 100 proof. She wanted me to try it, so it was pretty smooth. That's what it looks like. So we're going to give it a shot. I'll just pour the rest in my other drink. Got a drink less left. Alright, so first shot. Cannot say that was smooth. If I was sipping it, probably would have been a little better. But yeah, throat's burning. It's definitely 100 proof. I've got my drink. I hope you got yours. Alright, we're ready for this video. So, like I said, this movie stars Stephen Dorff and the other guy, and it was directed by Tibor Takács. Not sure how you say it. He's Hungarian Canadian. But he has also directed the likes of Spiders, Ice Spiders, Mosquito Man, Mega Snake, Rats, The Kraken. So yeah, he's not had a great track record. This is probably his best work, I would assume. I know I've seen a couple of those movies, and I would say this one is probably some of his best work. The plot of the movie is basically, and if you go watch this movie, there are a lot of dream sequences. It starts out with a dream sequence, has at least 4 more, if not more than that, throughout it. Kind of annoying. Probably the worst thing about the movie, besides a couple of visual effects, but those end up being kind of funny. So, the plot of the movie is the kid, Stephen Dorff, has a dream about a tree falling in his backyard, wakes up, tree's actually fallen. There's already like 40 people working on cutting it up and getting it out of the yard. He goes out and he's just walking around the work site and nobody's paying any attention to him. And they yank the trunk of the tree out of the ground, and a geode falls out. And so he takes it inside and thinks it's cool. So later on that day, his buddy comes over, LT. So he wants to go dig it up and look for more. So they dig it up, find one really big one, crack it open, it glows and does some other stuff before it finally settles down. They assume it's trapped gases. He's got an older sister babysitting. She decides to have a party with all of her friends because she's older. And again, that's what always happens. So she's having the party. They're trying to do light as a feather, stiff as a board. They talk Stephen Dorff into doing it. He actually levitates and like kind of floats across the room. Falls down, cries. The next day, or later on that night after the party, their dog dies following a dream sequence. So it makes it really awkward. And the next day, LT goes home and he's jamming out to his music. Well, earlier when they had broken the big geode, it rolled across one of those, it's like an etch-a-sketch, but you write with the little pen, and then you just peel the paper up and it disappears. The geode rolled on it, and they were like, oh, and they read the words that it made, which made no sense. Well, as he's home jamming out, to his heavy metal because he's a troubled kid. He realizes he's heard some of this stuff before and goes through the record, actual vinyl record album cover, and it has a little book, and it's talking about all these old gods and stuff. So basically, he figures out that the hole is a gate. Where else would a hole be a gate to? But, you know, the ritual is you have to speak the words, you have to break the geode for some reason, and then it needs 2 sacrifices. Doesn't specify human, just says 2 sacrifices. So he's like, well, we're good because we haven't sacrificed anything, so we just need to cover the hole up. So that's what they do. Later on that day, the sister's love interest is supposed to take the dog to the animal shelter to dispose of the remains. And the animal shelter's closed. So when he gets back to the house, he sees the hole. He's like, yeah, whatever. Tosses it in, covers it up. That's one sacrifice. So they're able to influence and kind of come out a little bit because 2.5 of the 3 requirements have been met. And this is where we get one of my favorite characters in the movie. They're little, probably 10, 11 inch guys that are like demons, and they have big eyes and this funny looking mouth. And I used to have one of the toys when I was a kid. It was awesome. I loved it. But yeah, they run around causing havoc, causing more dream sequences. And they come in hordes for the most part. One of them gets his arm caught in a door, and then it just splits up into little semen looking things that slide under the door, and I guess remake his arm on the other side. So they're pretty cool little monsters. Probably, I mean, as far as effectiveness, they're not very effective. But as far as cool looking, I loved them. I thought they were cool. Anyways, going past all that, they try to figure out how to close the gate. They get the album record book, and it burns up on contact, so they end up deciding to go out and read the Bible at the hole. Seems to be working. Terry falls in. The minions come out and start attacking him. He makes it out just barely. Loses a shoe, but he makes it out. Very shortly after that, they decide we should go to bed and try and get some sleep. That's when another monster pops up. One that LT had imagined at the beginning of the movie. And it ends up taking LT, so he was technically the second sacrifice. They end up taking his sister as well, so he's left all alone. As this happens, his house is falling apart, the gate's shooting just a funnel of hell up into the air, I guess. It's black smoke. It's spreading across the world. But from his living room, just a giant hole, like 20 times the size of that hole in the backyard, opens up. And the big master demon, they don't ever really say what it is other than old god, so the old god comes out. Pops up, probably one of the coolest, still to this day, one of the cooler looking monsters I've seen in a monster movie, like a creature feature type of thing. Very cool looking. Loved the modeling aspect of it. It was very neat. Pops up out of the floor. He's looking at Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff's looking at him. They kind of share a moment, and he grabs him by the hand and puts an eyeball in his hand. So now he's got this Pan's Labyrinth type eyeball just in his hand. So he remembers what LT had said earlier about having to use love and light to destroy the demons and close the gate. So his light part was a rocket because he's obsessed with rockets throughout the movie. And the love part is because his dad gave it to him, or somebody gave it to him. Of course, the rocket drops downstairs. He's got to go downstairs next to the hole. So he takes a piece of glass and jabs the eyeball. So I guess the big demon doesn't know what he's doing. Anyways, he pops back up through the hole, and he's upset now. And kind of comes at him, and that's when he shoots the rocket. Ends up exploding the demon. After that, there's just fireworks everywhere. We're somehow meant to think that came from the rocket that exploded inside the demon, inside the house. But there's fireworks everywhere, and then the sky just opens up into clear blue sky. And of course, everybody that was unalived comes on back just like dirty and disheveled, like, oh, wow, what happened? And at the very end, the dog pulls Terry's shoe out of the hole. They tried really hard, I think, on this movie. Like I said, even compared to some of the ones that he's done recently, I think the director did a good job on this one. It was always one of my favorites growing up. I have enjoyed my drink. I hope you have enjoyed yours. We'll see you next time. Have a drink of pain.